Dave, will you go ahead and start the recording?
We're good.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to get started today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Vectren's June webinar all about revolutionizing the credit origination process. Today, like I said, we will be recording this presentation, and we're going to be sending both the recording and the flattened slide presentation out to all of our attendees later this afternoon. I'm also sure that you have noticed by now that you are all muted. Since we are recording this webinar, we've gone ahead and muted everyone. Oh, yes, we have a number for you to call in since you can't hear. Dave, can you make sure to pop in the number?
Sure, hold on. Let me find it.
We'll pop that into the chat if anyone can't hear. Although I suppose if you can't hear, you can't hear me saying that we'll pop it into the chat. All right, so while he's doing that, we will keep going. So like I said, we are going to send this presentation out to everyone. We'll send the slide deck out this afternoon, and we'll also send the recording over. Since you are all muted, I want everyone to know that does not mean that we don't want your questions. In fact, just the opposite. We have activated the Q&A functionality of Teams today to catch all of your questions, and we will be monitoring that throughout the presentation. So if you have a question about anything in the presentation or anything related to credit collections, AR, automation, or if you just frankly want to say anything, please pop it into the Q&A chat and we will be monitoring that throughout. Let's get started. So first of all, I'm your host, Nikki, and I have with me host Ali. Ali's been with Vectren for just over 5 years. He's the product and implementation manager here for Vectren. He specializes in understanding common problems with both large and small credit collections and AR departments and converting those opportunities into meaningful products that both delight customers and push companies forward. For those of you that I haven't gotten to meet yet, I'm Nikki, Vectren's Director of Marketing and Communications. So I have been with Vectren for a year now, and I've spent this last year dedicated to nurturing the relationship between both our clients and our credit management, credit bureau, and media partners. I'm here to make sure that Vectren's suite of products keeps getting even more innovative and user-centric than ever before. That's enough about us specifically. For those of you that don't know, Vectren, welcome. In a nutshell, Vectren is a B2B credit, collections, and accounts receivable automation software. What does that mean? We exist to make your life easier as credit professionals. That's really our whole thesis. What we do here is help create collection and AR departments and credit AR and collections departments focus on more strategic initiatives by eliminating mundane, tedious manual tasks. Basically, if you do something repetitive, we're here to automate it. That's what we're meant to do. We want to make sure that you can actually focus your attention on those high value company growth products or projects that you've been meaning to get to. Those, you know what I'm talking about, those if I only had the time projects. Those are the ones that we want to help you actually focus on while we take away all the tedium. Speaking of making our life easier, let's actually dive into today's topic. Today, we're going to talk about 4 major points. So those are how to add proficiency to your credit process from start to finish, the best ways to automate all those manual processes and procedures that you have, optimizing and accelerating the investigation procedures, and fostering a secure environment for data interactions. Like I said earlier, as we go through this, please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the Q&A chat, and we'll keep that open and monitor it throughout. So let's get started. Let's talk about the average B2B credit process. Put yourselves in the mind of your customers for a moment and really evaluate your current application process. How do your customers get from point A, apply for credit, to point B, getting their products and actually going on with their lives and paying you. Is it a quick process that you're thinking of right now? Is it slow? Is it painful? What are your customers more likely to get stuck on during the process? Do you have those things that popped into mind that are just like, oh yeah, this is a thing that always my customers get hung up on? Well, think of that thing. Can you change anything about your process to make it easier for them? I'm sure that you can. We live in a world where people want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that honestly includes their credit lines. And frankly, you as credit professionals want the same thing. You want them to get their products and your company to get your money quick, fast, and in a hurry too. So how do you make the process as painless as possible and keep your customers happy and your company happy? How do you do that? Well, the first step is to audit your process honestly and figure out where those gaps are and how to correct those. Like we just said, do you find that a lot of people are skipping over a field that you need? Well, then make sure that it's clear which fields are required. Make sure it's clear what the absolute bare minimum is to be considered for credit and let them know what your process looks like. Set those expectations up front. People are way more likely to actually go through with the process if they know what it is that they're getting into, even if it takes them a little bit longer. If they need to fill out more information, most people are happy to do that, but they want to know what it's for and why they're doing it. So, one thing you can do to set those clear expectations and manage your customers' journey well is by providing a self service portal for them. Show them what's happening in their journey. Make sure that they can see and check on their application on their own. Give them that autonomy and make sure that they're not stuck in the dark. Give them visibility into what's missing, what the status is, and what they should be doing. And while you're at it, give other departments in your company the same visibility. Adding this overall visibility to your credit process is going to eliminate common frustration both within the process on the internal side and on the external side for the customers because it makes sure that communication stays open and consistent between everyone. Finally, you're going to want to be sure that you provide a secure area for all credit documents to be uploaded, stored, and accessed by the required credit personnel. This is going to make the process smoother by ensuring everyone in the process has the information they need readily available. It's going to mean no more waiting for your customer to send in those extra financials or telling them we still haven't gotten your tax exempt certificate or saying, "Hey, can I still need to see your license?" You're going to have all of that in one step. It's also going to save your sanity because you, as the credit professional, aren't going to have to chase down rogue pieces of paper. It's all right there in one spot so that when you're looking at an application, you are seeing the completed application and making the best decision possible. And frankly, it's also going to help the customer relations because you're giving them peace of mind that their information is secure and protected. So tell me about this. Like, speaking of paper, does this look familiar? I'm sure it does. Like, are you dealing with stacks on stacks of paper? Are you spending hours trying to read through redlined information or decipher illegible handwriting? Digitizing your credit application is the number one area where credit departments experience significant efficiency gains. When you switch from paper to an electronic solution, it's going to eliminate everything right here that you're seeing on my screen, the bad handwriting, the vicious redlining, the excess paper. Plus, it'll make evaluation so much easier for your team and your customers, which is going to give you time to focus on the stuff that really matters, which is the important part here. So keep in mind when adopting a dynamic digital solution, the best way to make sure that it does keep your life easy and it doesn't introduce more friction is to prepare your customers by, again, setting those expectations early. You want to make sure that you're very clear and that your customers are getting that fast efficiency that they do actually want. Explain that this is just going to speed up the process and they'll be more readily on board. We, honestly, especially as Americans, we are always on the move. Make sure that the application you create digitally is intuitive and user friendly, and they'll be more likely to adopt it quickly. If it works for them instead of against them, they're going to be on board. Just like the whole point is you want it to work for you instead of against you. Similarly, prepare your sales team. Make sure that your team is still interacting with existing customers and walking them through the new process with the same focus on highlighting those efficiency gains. Make sure the sales team is well trained and make sure that they know that what you as the credit department need to make those informed decisions. And everyone in all teams should know the customer's journey like the back of their hand. Keep communicating. Keep that communication flowing both internally and externally. And that's really going to be appreciated on both ends. It's going to make sure that miscommunications don't happen and that everyone knows exactly what to expect. The last thing you want is for your sales team to say one thing and the credit team to actually say another thing. This is where that communication is really important. And you can build the digital application to have all of that really said up front. So, step two in revolutionizing your credit process is to really identify the areas that can be automated and to leverage the technology that's available. We have a lot of technology just at our fingertips. What can we use right now to actually make our lives easier? That is the question that should be on everyone's mind. So, go back and think about what we did earlier. Think about your process from start to finish and really quality check your credit process from beginning to end. Locate those process bottlenecks. Which of them can be eliminated by machine learning? Is are waiting on documentation causing long decision times? Are you constantly finding yourself waiting to hear from reference providers? Is it taking too long to decipher the handwriting or actually just collate and find all of the relevant documents? It's the super manual and labor intensive tasks like this that automation is perfect for. Machine learning, like Veterans Instant Decision Manager, can actually take the existing workflow that you have and learn it and speed up the process by collecting references for you via email, pulling credit bureau data on its own and automatically in the background, collating documents by itself. All of these things can be done by the machine so that you are just seeing a comprehensive, completed application and making the best, most informed decision. Not to mention, like I said earlier, an electronic and automated process often provides a more user friendly and intuitive customer experience because they are saving time too. Automated Automating the credit information gathering. So, gathering information is actually the number one area where automation will add efficiency to your existing process. For example, let's talk about the reference collection stage. You can actually automate everything from asking your references to sending the reminders for those references to tracking where those reference responses actually are. So when the reference responses are received, you can automatically standardize your responses, and that's going to allow you to have a really streamlined process and make sure that everyone is saying the same thing and seeing the same thing, both internally and externally. The whole point is making sure that you have a uniform process from start to finish. So you can also actually tie in trade group references that you use or industry partners so that you can call to remind the responses on those as well. Next, you can automate your collection of financial statements and other documents. So we talked about this earlier. One of the most important things that you can do for your process is automating the collection of those documents and then keeping them in a secure digital area. Right now, like if you are collecting things manually, if you're collecting paper documents, where is all of that living? Where do you have to go look for it to find it? If you are automating financial statements and putting that as a piece of the application, it's all there as you need it. It's allowing you to get the same information you need quickly and easily every time, and you can electronically store it all to track those documents, especially the ones with expiration dates, so that you can automatically notify both you and the customers when something needs to be updated or re-signed. For example, if a tax exempt certificate is expiring soon, the system can send out a request to the customer to update the certificate and send it back to you without you ever even having to, manually put on your calendar, check this tax exemption date. The system is keeping track of all of that for you. So, not only is this all going to save you a lot of time, but it's also going to help make sure that your records are always current and up to industry standards, which is, I don't have to tell you all, extremely important. Finally, we can also automate the collection of credit bureau data and all of the comprehensive reporting that is coming in from multiple credit bureaus. That can all be done automatically. You already know which report attributes your company values the most. You can actually teach the machine to have that same weighted factors in your application. You can teach it which attributes are most likely to affect your decision and make sure that when the information is gathered, it's weighting those on the scorecard optimally. This will help protect your company from the dangers of misunderstanding the information that's being provided to you and also give you a more comprehensive look at what information is coming in. Let's talk about the third step. So, the third step in revolutionizing the process is successfully automating and digitizing your credit origination process. Uh, sorry, the third step in successfully automating and digitizing your credit origination process is optimizing and reducing the time spent on investigation and the procedures that go along with that. Everyone knows that determining and reviewing credit risk is one of the main responsibilities of your credit department. But not everyone is really optimizing the process to maintain a portfolio risk profile that's in line with your company's risk appetite. So, to really streamline the process and make the most accurate decisions every time, it's crucial to be creating that profile in line with your company's guidelines. So to determine what information is relevant and necessary, you want to make sure that you have a comprehensive scorecard. You want to make sure that you're creating something that is really giving you the best picture of the audience that's coming in. Every customer or potential customer can be evaluated using the same standardized criteria. Once you've built an electronic scorecard, it can all be uniform, which is going to make sure that no matter who's evaluating the customer, whether you've got multiple people in the credit department or you have multiple steps within the process, it's going to make sure that it's the same uniform criteria every time so that the same decision is reached every time. A scorecard system is not only going to get your department better and more consistent decisions, but it's also going to help you do it in less time than before. And like I mentioned earlier, if there's anything that we're all about, it's saving time. Because as you all know, time is money. Another facet of accelerating the investigative procedures is improving your company's communication. And that's both between credit and sales and what we're going to talk about here. It's between you and the other electronic systems you use, internal and external and partners. In order to reduce the time that you spend during the credit origination process, you'll want to create synergy between all of your systems, whether you're using CRMs, ERP system, your tax software, your UCC filing software, multiple credit bureaus, your preferred payment portal. Whatever it is that you are using, you want to make sure that all of your systems talk to each other, so to speak. You want to make sure that you're always viewing the same information between systems and that it's always consistent and correct no matter where you're viewing it. And ideally, you want it all to be in the same place so that every time you're looking at your customer's application and your customer's profile, you're looking at the most comprehensive and accurate view of where they really stand right now. Let's talk about reducing tracking time. So, this is an area that's really going to save the people in your department a lot of headaches. So, take a minute, put yourself in your customer's shoes for a minute. So, and imagine you've just applied for credit, and now it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, to quote Piano Man. But don't worry, I'm not actually going to sing. So it's 9 p.m. on a Saturday, and you're wondering what's happening with your credit application. You're wondering where it actually is, what's going on with it, what's the status, if you missed anything. You're spending all of your time focused on that. So what do you do? Can you call the credit department at 9 p.m. on a Saturday? Can you call the company? I mean, you can, but you're probably not going to get anywhere. So, what you're going to have to do is actually wait until Monday, unless they provide a self service portal that you can check whenever you want, letting you relax and actually enjoy your Saturday night because you are in control of looking at the application when you want to. And let's think about this from the other side of things too, from the credit management side of things. You have a lot of doors that can open when you have the visibility and tracking capabilities that a portal will provide. Not only are you going to field fewer emails and phone calls from your customers, you're going to get less of the hi, what's the status of my credit application? With an automated system like Vectron offers, you can actually eliminate that and then be able to view a complete dashboard of your incomplete applications all at once. It's going to let you see just where in the application a customer left off or how long they've been stuck on a particular page. This can help you proactively resolve any issues if a customer is, in fact, stuck on a certain requirement. You can go in, though, and resolve those before they could become major issues for this customer and others. You can be proactive. You can refine the process in real time to make sure that everyone is having the most frictionless experience. And this is going to help you increase your customer conversion rate too and improve customer satisfaction because you're going in there and you are using the data that you see there to make the process more intuitive for them in real time. Step 4. The final step in creating the best possible origination process is fostering a secure environment for your data interaction with a fully digitized credit process. So it's very important to know that your customer financial and credit data are all safe. We know that storing information in, filing cabinets is the way that it has been done, but think about it for just a second. Is your data being stored in a filing cabinet, a physical filing cabinet somewhere right now? What happens in the event of a natural disaster, a fire, a flood? What happens to that? Is your information actually stored online? Well, not online, all online storage is created equally. Do you actually have a VPN in place? What are your security procedures? Having a cloud environment with end-to-end encryption is actually the most optimum way to get security and ease of use together, and also give you peace of mind and also your customers peace of mind because you actually have that double layer of security. You have it in an environment that is easily accessible no matter where you are, and you also have all the information you need right in front of you. So, with all the important information that's involved in the credit process, we need to talk about the fact that who's handling it. You don't want to leave your data security up to chance, and you also don't want to trust it to a non expert. Now, most often, data security is not the specialty of the average SME. Why? Well, because that's not what they're made for. You are in the credit department, and your company specializes in its industry, not in credit or in data management. Your companies are focused on, let's see, the industries that I saw represented here today. We've got the construction industry, the food service industry. I saw roofing come in. All those industries, that's what you specialize in. So you need to find someone that a credit management solution that actually goes ahead and specializes in data security in addition to automating the process. The most advanced solutions will have safeguards in place so that ensuring that your customer's information is not only safe, but also doesn't fall into the wrong hands or under the wrong eyes, for example. I mean, let's think about it from not only just security standpoint externally, but internally as well. Who in your company should have access to what information? There's no real reason a sales executive, for example, would need to see a customer's social security number. Just like there's no reason for a customer service executive to see a customer's entire financial history, for example. With a system that's truly comprehensive, like what Vectrin offers, you can actually control the access to sensitive information at the user level, which makes sure that personal, financial, and other sensitive data is never overexposed. You can really have that control in there so that everyone can see exactly what they need to see, but only what they need to see at all the right times. Now let's talk about electronic signatures. So if you are used to collecting scribbled signatures on paper, you might be very happy to receive a typed, legible signature. I'm sure that that is all the relief you need. But the actual benefits of an e-signature don't just stop there. So when you require digital signatures as part of your application process, you are one making sure that the signature areas are all filled out and that they satisfy line length requirements. So, for example, you can make sure that no one's just putting, say, their initials on a credit application, because that may not satisfy your credit policy. Additionally, when you do an electronic signature, you're going to get a bonus in that you're getting IP addresses and all the data that comes along with that. You're going to get the latitude and the longitude of where your signature was and the service provider as well. Let me tell you why this is super important. In this digital age, that gives you the ability to match where the computer and the electronic signature is with the information that's actually on the application. That is a fraud or a risk mitigation measure right there, because you can actually look at the application and say, oh, this person says that they're in Long Beach, California, but the IP address is actually in Russia. Something looks sketchy here. It gives you that added layer of security to actually mitigate the risk before it becomes a problem. Moving on, you can actually be able to know, again, not just where the signature's from, but you can re-verify it via email or getting additional signatures. It's going to give you that added step of security, but it also is going to make it super simple to ask for additional verification if that's something your company requires. You're going to be able to request more information like driver's licenses, attestation, anything else that you might require to make the most comprehensive and informed decision. Another awesome part of collecting and storing all the credit data electronically is that you get to have it all at your fingertips later for evaluation. For example, in a platform that's truly comprehensive, you can use the data that's collected as you go about your typical day-to-day credit processes, and you can use that data to evaluate your departmental performance. You can look at each person's or your department as a whole at the days to process an application, at the number of apps received by each person, at the average credit amount requested, and more factors. This is going to really help because it will allow you to start maybe doing your metrics in such a way that you're doing predictive analytics. You're starting to see year-over-year sales forecasting. You're starting to see the data that shows you if all of your information is seasonal, or if everyone in your industry is seasonal. If you have companies that request more credit at different times of the year, you can even start branching out. You also can leverage that data to ensure that you are making sure that you're not getting incomplete applications. It can give you a really clear understanding of exactly who your target customer is and how they go about the customer journey to ensure that they're getting the most out of your business and not falling off at any area. So you can ensure that you're seeing your credit application in the most comprehensive way and make sure that you're fixing proactively any of those areas of friction before they become real hurdles for your customers to get to. You can revive those credit applications and you can actually turn them into sales and then reward your existing customers and your recurring customers by increasing credit limits for those well-paying customers. You can easily conduct reviews and increase those credit limits. And you can also help create a nice targeting community or a nice targeting opportunity for those companies that have been really positive, well-paying customers. Find out if they're ready to move up, if it's an upsell opportunity for your sales team. This is a great example of sales and credit actually working together for company growth. And again, we can all it's just another way to really streamline the process, but also use that extra time that you've saved by streamlining the process and turn it into a high growth initiative. Now that you're not having to spend time actually deciphering handwriting, you can spend more time reading the metrics of what you're getting and figuring out where the energy should actually be spent on positive, high transaction, high volume, and high value customers. So now that we've talked about the necessary components in a streamlined and digitized credit origination process, let's move on to talking about what one actually looks like. Because I know that what you're all thinking here is, okay, Nikki, I get it. I All of this sounds great, and I'm here and I'm ready to upgrade my credit process. But what does this actually look like? What should I be looking for in an electronic solution? How can I find one that actually works with my process and my company? Well, I've got good news for you. 'Cause I'm going to tell you all of that. The next few slides we're going to talk about is actually highlighting what you should be looking for to find the best solution, the best automation solution, and for you to really take that credit process to the next level and truly do what we're talking about today. Revolutionize your credit origination process. Revolutionize the entire order to cash cycle. You can do all of that with the right process. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the great news is when you automate your manual tasks, you're in charge of teaching the technology what you want it to do. You can structure the credit application like we talked about earlier so that it uses your workflow. It'll think like you and track and monitor and account for all the transaction activity you normally would. So you really want to look for an option that offers that customization. You also want to look for a comprehensive platform, something that offers you not just the electronic application. I mean, if that's all you want, it can, but you really want to look for something that's going to offer you performance and management matrix, a comprehensive view of credit analysis and reporting, so that once you are looking at all this time you've saved, you can put it to better use by looking at those metrics and that reporting and determining where you should be focusing your time for more growth initiatives. You're going to want to look for something that, again, offers, like we said, that electronic signature, but also something that gives you the power to run those credit reviews and identify those additional growth opportunities, work with the sales team. And most importantly, you're going to want to look for something that offers that credit reference system all automated. Make sure that you're finding a system that sends out those emails that for your references. You don't want to spend any more time calling references or waiting for faxes. Find a system that gives you the opportunity to automate all of that and also automate the collection of all of those documents that you need, like the tax exempt certificates we talked about, like those multi-jurisdiction sales tax management forms we talked about. Find something that really gives you the option to create a comprehensive application from start to finish. For the credit management for a truly robust credit origination process, you're going to want to find a credit management office online, something that offers you multi-language and multi-business support. For companies that work with other countries and other continents, this is crucial. You're going to want to have a system that actually delivers a credit application and a user interface that is what your customers are expecting. It meets them where they are in terms of language, formatting, dates and times, numeric values, currency, something that they'll look at, and does not, again, cause additional friction for them. It's easy and intuitive for them to use. You're also going to want to look for something that offers you more robust optionalities, like that automated decision manager we talked about earlier. Vectren offers an instant decision management solution that would give you a customizable framework to actually automate some of those credit reviews and decisions. So, for example, if you find that you're spending a lot of time collating data, gathering credit bureau information, reaching out to references for really for volume, low value transactions, you can actually build the system out in the instant decision manager so that it automates all of those decisions. You can actually tell it, okay, if something comes in at this volume, it's under this amount of dollars that they're wanting, and they have this amount of credit information, go ahead and approve that. I would rather spend my time focused on the high value, high transaction environments, things that need a little more touch. That's where I want to spend my time. You can look for something that will give you that flexibility and that capability. If you want something that's more comprehensive as well, look for a system that offers you even more than just the credit application. We've talked a lot today about the credit origination process. That's what our whole focus is on. But there are options out there like Vectren that can give you accounts receivable solutions, operations management solutions, and really give you a more of a comprehensive look at everything that you're going to do. You can start doing everything from the entire order to cash cycle within that solution, and really keeping everything that the customers in the customer's life cycle in one solid platform. Again, the other thing I wanted to touch on this side specifically is making sure that you're looking for something that has a comprehensive suite of credit bureau data services, something that interacts with multiple areas so that you can always get the information that you're used to seeing, and again, make the most informed decisions for your customers. Something that is credit application adjacent, let's talk about project-based applications and environments. So here at Vectren, we call the solution that we offer the construction jobs project sheet system. And basically, it's for areas that are in the project space. So if you are actually more interested in lending for mostly in the construction or the roofing industry, if you're looking for a solution that would actually automate those types of applications, look for a solution that specializes in that, because then you would be able to build the project information sheets customizable to what you need instead of having to sort of finagle the credit application to meet your needs. You would have a system that actually offers you exactly what you're looking for and would give you those comprehensive views of the internal and of the internal and both the customer view of their completion status, and allow them to add new jobs over time, giving them more incentive to become recurring customers. And it would be able to keep, again, everything into the one place for your customers so that you are always having the most information, the most accurate information and the most comprehensive information to keep your customers returning over and over, make their lives so much easier, make your lives so much easier. So here at Vectren, for us, everything is all about being a comprehensive, all-in-one solution. So we've spent a lot of time today talking about the credit origination process. But for us, it wouldn't be a full day if we didn't also talk about the other steps in the order to cash cycle, accounts receivable, collections management. So for those of you that are looking to really take your entire order to cash cycle and move it to the next level, look for a solution that doesn't just automate the credit application, but also offers you a comprehensive suite from start to finish. You can look for programs that for something that like Vectren offers you, in addition to all of the credit solutions, it gives you those collection strategies, the collections effectiveness dashboards. It gives you comprehensive dashboards in terms of DSO, aging, cash collected, most recent payments, most risky accounts. It gives you this comprehensive view of everything, not just from the application process, but where they went after that, so that you can go back and check in on those and keep your customers in a healthy standpoint. You also can look for something that automates all that collection activity. If you are still hand emailing, hand calling, or texting your customers to remind them about payments, I have good news for you because you don't have to do that anymore. You can do all of that within the Vectren system so that you have an audit trail available. You are able to do it all while you are taking comprehensive notes and already scheduling the follow-ups. For example, if you are going through, you are a collections officer and you're calling a customer and they're telling you that the payment's on the way, you can actually in real time update their profile right there within Vectren, and all of that's recorded and you have comprehensive notes. So again, if you're looking for a solution that's really comprehensive about upgrading your system, go ahead and look for something that offers all of those things as well as a payment portal, and really look for something that is like we call Vectren ERP agnostic, because we will integrate with any ERP. The same can be said about like our payment portals and things and our credit bureaus. We integrate with a wide range of payment portals and credit bureaus and invoicing systems, because we want to be able to meet your customers where they are, just like you do. So look for something that offers, the payment portal and the self-service payment portal. Make sure that it's as easy as possible for your customers to submit their payments, and then they're going to be more likely to pay on time or early. Make sure that you're looking for something that offers, billing issues and disputes resolution and billing and invoice management, if you want to make sure that if you want to have it to be a comprehensive solution. And of course, you can't make it comprehensive without having something that also takes into account claims and settlements. You can automate a lot of the dispute approvals and the dispute creation for customer short pays. You can automate a lot of that within the solution if you found one that's comprehensive enough. Again, so for example, with Vectren, we are ERP agnostic. So we will integrate with all of your ERPs and make sure that all of that real time and scheduled data exchange is happening and up to date constantly, so that you're seeing the most complete and accurate information about your customer's entire life cycle. And of course, if you really want it to be comprehensive, you can't not talk about cash application. If you want a system that really helps your customers from start to finish, make sure that it's automatically applying those payments and it's consuming all of those lockbox and bank files, so that you can actually have the auto cash application set up based on your configurable rules. So I'm saying configurable again. You've heard me say customized, configurable. That's a theme here because you really want to make something that works for you and not against you. Well, you want something that is built and customized specifically for your company and for your customers, and feels like it's the most intuitive for them. You also going to want to make sure, again, I mentioned this earlier, but global or multi-currency and multilingual is going to be a huge one here for cash application, because you want to make sure that you are getting something that is applying the cash in the most efficient way possible and in the most accurate way possible. So, of course, with all of this, here at Vectren, we pride ourselves on being the all-in-one credit management platform. All of this that I have talked about today, we do all of this. We are comprehensive. We do pride ourselves on being customizable and adaptable and highly scalable. And we really want to work with you to help make this credit origination process, or really the entire order to cash cycle, as painless as possible. If you have any questions, please again drop them in the chat because I'm wrapping up right now. And if you have any questions about this entire process or Vectren specifically, here's just a quick overview of like what we can do and how we can help you speed up and take your order to cash cycle to the entire next level. So we, again, do it all, but you want to make sure that you're looking for something that meets your needs. If you're looking for an electronic credit application system, make sure that you're actually looking for something that is comprehensive and will build the application to your specific specs. This concludes our Revolutionizing the Credit Origination Process webinar for today. In terms of the presentation itself, what I really want to do now is turn the mic over to Ali and answer some of these questions that I have seen coming in. So, Ali, first of all, say hello, and then I have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. Thanks for the webinar, and definitely thanks everybody for joining. I guess I can answer the questions. Nikki will run through what you guys asked. Go for it, Nikki.
Perfect. All right. So I have a question here in the Q&A section. So we have someone here who's saying, I have a lot of pushback because we send links and everywhere companies don't want to click on links. So this is a question that we actually got and we talked about a little bit in our user group at Credit Congress. Is there an alternative that in the works for this issue? I'm sure that a lot of companies are seeing this. So Ali, let's talk about people that are afraid to click on links.
Yeah, well, a few things. One is obviously white labeling the domain so it comes from you instead of like coming from like an unknown source. A lot of times what happens is that we would try to, send a link on your behalf and it would fail because, we haven't properly authenticated. So, I mean, that's obviously the biggest way. We usually see that for, bank references as well. But the idea would be to white label the domain so that those links don't end up going to spam.
Perfect. Awesome. So Ali, we have another question here. Can we build the application within Vectren? Talk about that, because yes.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. I mean it's not like we would give you our default vanilla application. So like you would give us your paper version, and then we would configure ours to whatever you have. And then there would be like a process to do a review, and then get it to a point where you're comfortable with the approach. But so it's not like you have to use. We obviously have like a vanilla version, but as Nikki was saying, it's configurable to what you need.
Next question. Is there a way that when a customer wants to be tax exempt, that the tax resale certificate is provided? A lot of customers send in a copy of their permit, which is not the document we need to be tax exempt.
Yeah, so that would be asked for as part of the process. We also support the other, uh, the multi-jurisdiction and the SSUTA, so that they can actually fill out the information within the system, and we would generate that for you. So those would be collected as part of the process, and then we can also send over the documents to you, so you can store them in some system that you may have, and then we have a system for reminders as well. We're also working on external integrations with vendors like Avalara, so you'll be able to integrate with them and send these certificates out too.
Perfect. All right. So we have one last question here. It looks, yes, one last question here. So, will you have a webinar on how to use Vectrin as a new user? So I will say this, and then I'll turn it over to Ali. We are going to be starting to have regular Vectrin user groups that are specifically dedicated to helping users that are actively in the platform work more efficiently within it. So that's coming soon, but also we do offer a lot of trainings and one-on-one trainings. So Ali, what would you say to having a webinar on how to use Vectrin as a new user? How would you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, if you are indeed a new user, I mean, we can definitely set up a dedicated training session for you. So if you reach out to your resource and, they can set that up for you. If you're looking for more like, a show and tell where, we can go in and show you how to use the system, and you can ask questions. Definitely that would be better on a one-to-one rather than a webinar. But we can, from a webinar perspective, we can maybe focus on, the things that people do when they start using a system like ours. But if it's dedicated training, for existing customers, they can definitely reach out to their resource, and that training can be set up.
Yes, all right. Well, that's the end of our questions. Ali, did you have any final thoughts to add before we wrap up?
No, thanks, Nikki. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, then in that case, thank you all again so much for attending. Truly appreciate all of you taking out your time and spending it here with us at Vectrin. This presentation, like I said, will be flattened and sent out and emailed to everyone. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Ali, or visit the Vectrin website. If you would like to set up a demo or do one of those personalized trainings, reach out to your Vectrin representative. And otherwise, we will talk to you all soon. Happy June and have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.